So I wanted to do a bit of a quick review of the Mini Maglite. It's one of those sort of classic lights that's been around forever, and probably every household in the Western world owns at least one of them. But I think people do sometimes question if they're worth buying today or not. So I thought I'd try and answer, that question a little bit. So this isn't the current model. This is a Pro. So they also do a Pro Plus. But this one I actually bought while on holiday in Florida, or vacation if you prefer. Actually back in 2016. This is, I believe, the 272 lumen version, whereas I think now the Pro or the Pro Plus is up to 335 lumens. I'm not sure if they've changed the LED or if they've just upped the amp rate on it a little bit. This one uses a Cree XPG2, so it's still a fairly modern emitter. Lots of lights still use this. And it kind of suits this size light. It runs on 2 AAs, alkaline, nickel metal hydride like an Eneloop, or lithium primary like the Energizer lithiums. Buy it in various different colours, different types of packaging, and that. It's one of those lights you can still find relatively easy, even in the UK, and they're not badly priced. So what do I think of it? Well, it's still very much a Mini Maglite. The only real difference from the sort of the classic incandescent one is the LED ones have this much deeper head on it, which obviously serves a purpose probably in the mechanism for the LED module, and it gives it quite a nice deep reflector, which we're probably not going to see very well in this light here, but you have to take my word for that. But it does mean it is quite a long flashlight. They're certainly bigger than they used to be, which kind of just puts it off for me a little bit. I'm more used to sort of lithium ion torches, so we've got like a Convoy S2 Plus here, and you can see the Mini Mag is considerably longer, although the head's about the same diameter, the body's a little bit thinner. But it does mean it's kind of hard to sort of EDC it. It's almost a coat pocket sort of size now, but it is still nonetheless a Mini Maglite. I wish that they would put some sort of clip on here. I know they do a horrible sliding clip that you end up having to slide up to the top here, and it scratches all the anodizing. But it'd be nice if Mag put a recess in here and offered a proper pocket clip, but they don't. But let's have a little look and see what the beam's like. So just like its earlier incantations, it's just a twisty head, so tight for off and undo for on. The head is silky smooth to move, and you can do it one-handed with ease. And you can see, we've got quite a good beam coming out of this thing. Now it is a focusable light, but you don't get a lot of range of focus. You can just go a little bit sort of wider on the hotspot and then a bit tighter, but it's not really got a great degree of focus. The spill beam is not the widest due to that deep reflector, but it is quite bright spill beam as a result. I think if the beam was wider, you'd get sort of a duller spill beam, and you've got that sort of hot spot there. But if we sort of have a look close up at some stuff, got a sign there, not very reflective, but we can sort of light that up quite well in the dark, sort of under 2 foot away. But if we shine out across over here, we've got a little bit of a pond going on, and I think we'll just about get it in focus. We've got a deck over there at the other side. It's not the most throwy of lights, but it's comparable to anything in its size class that runs on this kind of power source, and probably exceeds most of them. The beam itself, as you can see on the camera, it's nice. It's clean. We've got a hot spot there. If you're white wall hunting, you might say there's a couple of rings in the beam, sort of midway between the hot spot and the edge of the spill, but they're really hard to see. You've really got to get it on a white wall to see that. Now, as it is a focusable head, if we keep on defocusing it, you can make the beam quite ugly, and you can induce, sort of a donut hole. But why would you? All you're doing is reducing the output and making the beam look bad. Mag's done the hard work for you. Literally, you just turn it on, just turn it all the way off, and it's like a quarter of a turn to turn it on, and you're pretty much at the perfect beam straight off. So you just need to sort of turn it on and off, and that's it. I'm running this one tonight on a pair of AA Iniloops. Although I believe you get pretty much the same performance from any battery source. So it probably makes the Maglites one of the best performing lights if you are going to run alkaline batteries and that. Although I would never recommend doing that, because you know, you've got so much risk of them leaking. But you know, we do know that lots of people, especially the non-flashaholics out there, are more likely to just grab some Duracells or some cheapy batteries and chuck them in a torch, and they will work fine in this. Something else to note is this is a fully regulated light. All of the Maglite LED range, at least for several years, are regulated. I think people don't always realise that. Now, it's not a flat regulation. What this will do is it will slowly dim, and Maglite do it so that it preserves runtime. You get much better runtime. So if you keep this thing on, it will slowly get a little bit dimmer and dimmer and dimmer. I couldn't really detect any visible PWM from it. Definitely not seeing anything at this output level now. And if you turn the torch off and on again, so you cycle it, it'll just bring it straight back to full power again. And I say it's purely there just to try and enhance the run times, which is why they work so well with the alkaline batteries, as the alkaline batteries won't really want to sustain the higher outputs. In terms of that regulation mode, I'm actually not really a fan of it. The XL200 tends to be flat regulated with a big step down, which I much prefer, because you know instantly when it's dimmed, and a lot easier to cycle it back up to full power. With this, it's done so you don't notice it so much, but you kind of then realise, oh, it's not so bright if you're out walking. But as a general purpose light, I mean, we've got a path here. You can see you can light the path up exactly how you'd want to go walking, and we've got enough beam distance on it that we can sort of see about a little bit. And in the house, as I say, up close, it's perfectly fine. It's probably a bit too bright to read a book with or to map read with, and that's really where the Pro Plus comes in, because that has a low mode as well. So it's, but that's a trade-off, you know. If you want the higher output and the higher beam distance in a single mode light, you really can't have everything. But this probably gets as close as you can to doing that. So would I say in 2021 that you should consider a mini Maglite? Well, yeah, if the price is right and the availability is there. I really don't know what other AA lights I'd recommend over it. There's plenty of lithium ion lights I'd recommend over them, but they're not for everybody. But as a AA light, it's pretty good. I think I actually prefer its sister, the AAA Mini Mag, which only puts out 100 lumens, so it's nowhere near as powerful, doesn't have the same beam distance as this. But I prefer that form factor. It's a lot more pocket friendly, and for sort of close-up work it works better. But yeah, the AA Mini Mag is still a good light. In fact, we can probably see that's just dimmed a little bit while I've been doing this video now, although we can still reach the deck there. Let's just cycle it off and back on again. Oh, on the camera you can't perhaps see it, but by the eye I can see that we're just getting a little bit better light out of it by cycling it. And that's just that regulation mode kicking in there, which is kind of cool, because I say, you know, for the muggles amongst us, or amongst those, it's just going to give you better run times, and you won't realise that it's actually doing it. Cheers.